So what's up, guys? It's Stef. If you're involved in the NBA world or basketball world in any way, shape, or form, then you've heard of the upcoming freshman from Duke, Rj Barrett. He's the big talk of the town now in the country, heading to the NBA in this draft. Gonna mention a few pros about this guy, what I like about this guy. He's a left-handed assassin. Left-handed players are a little undervalued in the NBA. I think they could be bigger threats in the NBA going forward in terms of the way the NBA is transformed in terms of shot selection and driving to the basket. So that's one thing that RJ Barrett is very good at. He's able to drive to the basket. He's not afraid of being physical. He's very long and lanky. He can explode to the basket. He can dunk. He can pull the Euro step off. I like this craftiness when he's down at the basket and he's able to maneuver around players really well. So that's going to be exciting to see if he's at the Garden. Another pro to mention is that he has NBA-ready athleticism. That's something that's really rare. You hear a lot of college players have a problem with their lateral quickness, with their athleticism. That's the thing that really separates the NCAA from the NBA. And the fact that he can bring his athleticism to the NBA, even though he's not overly explosive, I think it'll be very useful, especially as playing on the Knicks. And lastly, I'm going to say his height. Being 6'6", being able to push the ball in transition, take the ball, drive to the basket, he's able to dish the ball out. I think that being a 6'6" guy, having some weight on him, could be very vital in the NBA, especially kind of like that James Harden type of player. I'm not sure if that's his ceiling, but it would be fantastic to see. A few cons to mention. Low number of assists. That's something I've been raving about from the start. We need a point guard or a guard in any way, shape, or form that can dish the ball out, that we can kind of provide for other players, make players better. He's averaging 4 assists for Duke. That's great. But, the last player who's had the highest assists was Joakim Noah with 7. That's kind of a problem, especially we need that type of number for a playmaker, and it hasn't really been happening for us. Another con is that he's not a three-point shooter or a free throw shooter. Another thing that we've been really missing on the New York Knicks. We need someone who can spread the floor, who can shoot from the outside, who can really keep the defense honest. And we can't really just rely on players to be ISO players or drive to the basket. We need to really mix it up and have a dynamic flow in the New York Knicks. We can't just have a very similar type of player every single year. Lastly, I think he could definitely work on his decision making. At times, he does have really good fundamentals. He can play well off the ball, but sometimes his defense is up and down. I'd like for his decision making, especially with his shooting. I think he's averaging about like 30-some%, shooting 30-some% from three-point range, and I think that kind of comes from his bad decision making. It sort of reminds me of a THJ from time to time, which is not so good. In terms of percentage that he's going to get on the Knicks, I'd say about 20%, just because I have a feeling that the Knicks are either going to go number 1 or they're going to drop to 4 or 5 and so on. I just don't think that the 2 to 3 range is going to happen for us, and I feel like RJ Barrett is going to land in that spot. So that's all I got to say, guys.